Of every measurement your private GP runs at your annual medical, the one that predicts how long you will live more reliably than your blood pressure, more reliably than your cholesterol, and more reliably than almost any other single number in modern medicine is the one they almost certainly do not measure. You can test it yourself in 10 seconds, sitting where you are right now. And if you are over 50, what you find will tell you more about your real biological trajectory than the last decade of executive medicals combined. I'm Dr. Mark Holmes. For 35 years, I have practiced medicine on Harley Street, working with founders, executives, and senior leaders who want to understand what is actually happening inside their bodies, not just what is technically normal on a blood test. Today, I want to take you inside one of the most under-discussed crises in longevity medicine for men over 50. It is not your blood pressure.
It is not your weight. It is not even your VO2 max, important as that is. It is your grip strength. And the data behind it should change the way every executive over the age of 45 thinks about strength training, about aging, and about which numbers actually matter. Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you will know the 10-second self-test that almost no one performs. You will know exactly what your number should be at your age, and you will know the 4-lever protocol that reverses the decline if you are below where you should be. This is not theoretical. This is mortality data from over 100,000 patients across 17 countries. And it is the strongest practical case I can make for why the gym routine you've been doing since your 40s may have been measuring the wrong thing the entire time.
Before I take you into this, if you find this kind of evidence-based longevity content useful and you want more of it, subscribe to this channel. That is how I know to keep making these deep dives for executives and founders. And if you want to know exactly where you stand right now across the 6 pillars of longevity, including your exercise and movement pillar score, take the free Executive Longevity Scorecard linked in the description. It takes 5 minutes, the report is personalised, and it costs nothing. Right, let us get into it. Here is what most executives over 45 believe about strength training. They believe that the bench press, the deadlift, and the squat are the indicators of how strong they are. They believe that as long as they are getting to the gym 3 times a week, ideally working with a trainer, lifting heavy compound movements, they are taking care of the strength side of the longevity equation. And they believe that grip strength, if they think about it at all, is something for rock climbers and arm wrestlers, not something that matters for a man in his 50s or 60s running a business. If you believe all 3 of those things, you are in good company. Almost every executive I have ever worked with on Harley Street has believed exactly that when they first walked into my consulting room.
And every single one of those beliefs is incomplete in a way that matters enormously for how long you will live, how well you will live, and how independent you will remain into your 70s and beyond.
The reason this matters is not academic, it is mechanistic. The strength you build with a bench press is one specific expression of muscular force. The strength you measure with a grip dynamometer is something entirely different. Grip strength is a global readout, a single number that tells you about the integrity of your entire neuromuscular system. It is not just about your hand, it is about your nerves, your tendons, your fast twitch fibers, your motor units, your cerebellum, and your overall physiological reserve. And it declines on a curve that almost no one is tracking because almost no one is measuring it. So let me show you the data that changed how I think about this entirely. In 2015, a research team led by Leong published what is still one of the largest studies of its kind in The Lancet. It is called the PURE study, Prospective Urban-Rural Epidemiology, and it followed nearly 140,000 adults across 17 countries for an average of 4 years. They measured grip strength using a simple handheld dynamometer at baseline, and they followed who lived and who died. What they found is the kind of finding that when you first see it makes you stop and read it again to make sure you have understood it correctly. For every 5 kilogram decrease in grip strength, the risk of dying from any cause went up by 16%. The risk of dying from cardiovascular disease went up by 17%. The risk of dying from a heart attack specifically went up by 7%, and the risk of stroke by 9%. Grip strength was a stronger predictor of cardiovascular death than systolic blood pressure was. Let me say that again. Your hand grip force was a better predictor of whether you would die of cardiovascular disease in the next 4 years than your blood pressure was. That finding has now been replicated in multiple subsequent analyses, including very large data sets from the UK Biobank, work by Stuart Gray, Carlos Celis Morales and colleagues in 2018, and the older lineage of research from Taina Rantanen and her group going back to the late 1990s. The signal is real, it is robust, and it is consistent. Grip strength is not a hand measurement. It is a whole body biomarker. And the reason it works is because it integrates everything that is going wrong neurologically and muscularly as we age into a single number that you can measure in seconds with a 40-pound device. So here is what is actually true. The reason grip strength predicts mortality so powerfully is not because your hand strength itself is keeping you alive. It is because grip strength is a proxy for 3 things that decline together as we age, and that almost no other single number captures simultaneously. The first is total muscle mass, what clinicians call sarcopenia when it becomes pathological. Grip strength correlates closely with overall lean tissue, particularly upper body lean tissue, which is the first to go in midlife if it is not being defended. The second is neural drive, what physiologists call dynapenia, the loss of the brain's ability to recruit muscle fibers maximally and rapidly. This is the part that almost no gym routine addresses, because most executives over 45 train with submaximal loads and moderate tempos. The third is fast twitch fiber integrity. Type 2 muscle fibers, the fast, powerful ones that produce explosive force, are preferentially lost with age, far more than slow twitch fibers. By 70, the average man has lost roughly 30 to 40% of his type 2 fiber cross-sectional area. Grip strength picks up that decline earlier than almost any other measurement because the forearm flexors are heavily type 2 dependent. So when your grip is dropping, it is not really your hand that is the problem. It is your nervous system losing speed. It is your fast fibers atrophying. It is your motor units degrading. The grip number is the canary. The mine is your whole body. Now let me give you the practical part. What your number should be and how to test it. A handheld dynamometer, the device used in every one of those research studies, costs about £40 online. It is the gold standard. You squeeze it as hard as you can for 2 to 3 seconds with your elbow at 90 degrees and your arm by your side, and it gives you a reading in kilograms. Do it 3 times on each hand, take the highest reading from your dominant hand, and that is your number. Here is what your number should be. For a man between 40 and 49, normative data suggests dominant hand grip strength should sit above approximately 46 kilograms. Between 50 and 59, above approximately 43 kilograms. Between 60 and 69, above approximately 38 kilograms. Below those thresholds for your age, and the pure data tells us your all-cause mortality risk is climbing meaningfully for every 5 kilogram gap. If you do not have a dynamometer to hand, there is a rougher self-test you can do right now sitting where you are. It is called the dead hang. Stand under a pull-up bar. Most home gyms have one, most commercial gyms certainly do. Reach up, grip the bar with both hands, palms facing away from you, and simply hang. Just hang. Feet off the ground. A man between 40 and 60 in reasonable health should be able to hold a dead hang for at least 30 seconds. A well-conditioned man should approach a minute. If you cannot make 20 seconds, that is a signal. Not a verdict, a signal. It tells you the system is fraying. If your number is below where it should be, the good news is that grip strength and the underlying neuromuscular system it represents are highly trainable even in your 50s and 60s. There are 4 levers and they work in combination. Lever 1, heavy farmer's carries. Pick up the heaviest dumbbells or kettlebells you can hold and walk with them. Start with 30 seconds, work up to 60, twice a week. This single exercise loads grip, forearms, core, postural muscles, and cardiovascular system simultaneously. It is one of the most efficient longevity exercises in existence, and it is almost never programmed in commercial gym sessions. Lever 2, dead hangs as a daily practice. 2 sets of as long as you can hold, twice a day if possible. The dead hang trains grip endurance, decompresses the spine, loads the rotator cuff in a healthy distraction pattern, and reinforces the very capacity that pure data tells us protects life expectancy. Lever 3, eccentric loading on pulling movements. When you do a pull-up or a row, take 3 to 4 seconds on the way down. The eccentric phase preferentially recruits type 2 fibers, which is the fiber type we are losing fastest with age. Reversing that loss is the whole game. Lever 4, heavy compound lifting 2 to 3 times per week, but with one specific adjustment. Add 1 set per session at a load you can only manage for 3 to 5 reps. Most executives train in the 8 to 12 rep range almost exclusively. That builds size and endurance, but it does not maximally recruit type 2 fibers or train neural drive. Heavier, lower rep work, properly supervised, is what reverses dynapenia. 8 weeks of these 4 levers, applied consistently, will measurably increase grip strength in almost anyone who is willing to do them. The neuromuscular system is plastic. It responds. I want to close with the bigger picture. because the grip strength conversation is really a proxy for something larger. Almost everything that goes wrong in the second half of life, falls, fractures, hospital admissions, loss of independence, frailty, premature death, has neuromuscular decline at its root. The man who can deadlift heavy, hang from a bar, carry his own shopping with one hand, and squeeze a dynamometer at 45 kilograms at age 65 is not just impressive in the abstract. He is a man whose nervous system, fast twitch fibers, motor units, and physiological reserve are all running at a level that protects him from the cascade of decline that takes most people down in their 70s and 80s. The grip number is a window into that whole system. It is testable in 10 seconds. It costs nothing or near nothing to measure, and it tells you something your annual medical does not. Not because your private GP is doing anything wrong, they are doing what they were trained to do, which is screen for disease, but longevity is not the absence of disease. Longevity is the active preservation of physiological reserve, and grip strength is one of the cleanest, simplest, most evidence-supported readouts of that reserve we have. If you take one thing from this video, let it be this: buy the dynamometer, test yourself, compare your number against the targets I gave you, and if you are below, you now know exactly what to do. If this kind of analysis is useful to you, here is your next step. Take the free Executive Longevity Scorecard at the link in the description. It is 5 minutes. It scores you across the 6 pillars of the Holmes Longevity Index, including exercise and movement, which is exactly where the grip strength conversation sits. You will get a personalised report identifying where your highest leverage gains are based on your age, your patterns, and your current trajectory. There is no cost, there is no obligation, and it will tell you with precision where to focus first. If you found this video useful, subscribe to the channel for more deep dives like this one. Every Tuesday, I take a single longevity question and go to the evidence on it. I am Dr. Mark Holmes. Thank you for watching. I will see you in the next one.